Welcome everyone to RetroChat, and welcome to this special episode on Saved by the Bell, The Colleges. My name is Andy Evans. I am coming to you live here from Weymouth in Dorset. I hope you've all had a good couple of weeks. I hope you've all enjoyed some of the bonus episodes that have been up on the iTunes feed, on the Spotify feed, on all the feeds with TSC from the Vault, with some of the Retro Masters of the Universe Chronicles, and of course with the show. So today what we're going to be talking about is the pilot episode of The Colleges of Saved by the Bell. But before we do that, I want to ask you, how do you get in contact with me here at RetroChat? Well, the answer is very simple. You can go to all of the social media that is on the screen right now if you're watching this on YouTube. So Facebook, YouTube, and on Instagram, look for RetroChat Podcast. You can tweet me at RetroChatPod, and you can email studio@retrochat.co.uk. You can also listen to us on all of the main platforms, including Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon. Wherever you listen to podcasts, you can hear this show. And I want to ask you to please subscribe and like, as it helps us gain up those charts and gives us ammunition to go out and bring you some guests. But as well as this show, we've also got the YouTube feed, which is RetroPlay. And coming up in the next few weeks on RetroPlay will be some of this goodness. So we're going to be talking Streets of Rage. We're going to be doing the second part of our playthrough Streets of Rage on the Mega Drive. We're going to be playing some Sonic Heroes, some Simpsons Hit and Run. Excuse me. We're going to be doing some Sonic 2 and one of my favorite games of all time, Mario Brothers 3 on the Nintendo Entertainment System. All of that coming to RetroPlay exclusively on the YouTube feed. And if you're wondering what shows we've got coming up, well, this is a list of just some of the shows that are going to be happening in the next few weeks. So we're going to be doing a tribute to the late, great Owen Hart. We're going to be looking at the remastered version of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe with Chris Vint. We're going to be taking a deep dive into the Orville, which is the series by Seth MacFarlane that many people are saying is better than the next generation of Star Trek. We're going to be taking a look at the first episode of TNA Wrestling, which recently celebrated 19 years. We're going to be looking at that, and we're going to be doing a two-parter on the best of both worlds, the epic Season 3 finale, Season 4 premiere of The Next Generation. Plus, we have an episode coming up, which I will announce later on today, which is going to be a major one, which I'm really looking forward to doing. So, today's topic is, of course, Saved by the Bell, The Colleges. It was the spin-off from the original Saved by the Bell, featuring Zach, Screech, Slater, Kelly, Jesse Spano, and Lisa Turtle. And it's really an extension around the original series. And it's got a very similar presence. So it's around, instead of being at Bayside, they're now at Cal U. Instead of Mr. Belding, they've got Mike Rogers, who's the resident advisor. And the school that they're at is set near the city of San Fran. And originally, the series had a different girl cast. So Kelly, Tiffany Amber Thiessen, wasn't part of the original cast of the sequel. It was Zach, it was Screech Powers, it was AC Slater, and they were joined by Leslie Burke, who was Anne Tremco in real life, Alex Tabor, played by Kristen Warren, and Danielle Marks, who was played by Essence Atkins. The pilot, Atkins' role was actually written out, and it was replaced by Tiffany Thiessen as Kelly Kapowski, because the premise of this show was about Zach and Kelly. It was about reuniting those two and giving us a love story that we had throughout the first 4 years of Saved by the Bell. So during the first couple of episodes of the series, it really focused around Zach trying to get Leslie to fall for him. But with the third episode they really kind of found their groove and developed more to be around the entire gang and what they do in respect of college. And you also, throughout the series, see a change in the character of Mike Rogers, because at the beginning, he's portrayed as a really tough as nail ex-NFL pro footballer who really is about, you're going to follow my rules, dude, in quote to Hulk Hogan. Is that a link for the show next week? It's about, you will follow my rules, you will do as I say, you're here, you're going to learn, but you're going to do it. But actually, what happened throughout was you saw a rather soft, sensitive side of Mike Rogers, and he became quite good friends with Screech in particular. And there was a mutual respect for Zach and Slater, and I think the entire gang. And then, as the series progressed, there was only 19 episodes in this season. That authority figure was replaced by the legendary Holland Taylor, who played the role of Dean McMahon. And that really is what the Mike Rogers character was meant to have been. And in a vein similar to that of Mr. Belding, she really took an instant dislike to Zach and his scheme, and she punished him in various ways because of his antics. Although she was the big nasty in this series, and it was a lot more malice than Mr. Belding ever displayed to the guy. But the B story throughout this, the second story that was going through here, was the character of Jeremiah Lasky, who was the professor of anthropology, who really appeared in a number of episodes. The first one he appeared in was about Lucy the monkey with Screech, and Zach not taking anthropology seriously, so he set him a task where he had to find out what women want. That was a really fun episode. But the big underlying arch with this was the love story between Jeremiah Lasky and Kelly Kapowski, who really kind of fell for him in terms of looking after his daughter and thinking that she had a future with Lasky. But really, it was always intended to be Zach and Kelly. And Zach, by the end of the series, won Kelly over. They became engaged, and that led them on to the movie of The Wedding in Las Vegas, which we will cover at some point in the future of this show. So as we said at the beginning, all of the original cast members, apart from Elizabeth Berkley and Lark Voorhees, were back, playing albeit the same characters, just a little bit older. The one who I think they really changed, and I think they had to, but I'm not quite sure I liked it, was Screech. So Dustin Diamond, the late Dustin Diamond, who passed away earlier this year, portrayed Screech in really an eccentric, over-the-top way in the original Saved by the Bell. But this time you actually felt a bit humble for him. You actually felt a bit sorry for Screech, I feel. There was an episode where they were being rushed by the fraternities, and Screech wasn't being chosen. It was going to be Zach and Slater. They were the two jocks. They were the two that were the popular ones. And you did feel sorry for Screech in the end. It's always also nice to see the fact that they really gave him a love interest this season. He won a girl off Zach, which never would have happened in the original series. But again, it was really good to see. Now, unfortunately, this series only lasted for one season. And contrary to what happened with Saved by the Bell and with the new class, it moved from its original Saturday morning slot, which was really prime kids TV, into prime time evening. And they were trying to move it. They were trying to keep the essence of Saved by the Bell, but make it more of a primetime product. And I think the problem was that just didn't hit with the audience. And in fact, if we look at some stats, the series was cancelled after one season due to low ratings. It averaged only a 7.8 out of 12 rating share and ranked 88th out of 118 shows in the yearly ratings in the States. It had competition from Full House at the time and the first half of Rescue 911, both of which ranked in that season in the Nielsen Top 30. 19 episodes, as we said, were produced. The 19th episode, called Wedding Plans, left the series with a cliffhanger ending where Zach and Kelly hadn't yet married, but that, of course, led into the 90-minute TV movie Saved by the Bell, Wedding in Las Vegas, where all of the main actors, apart from Anne Tremco, agreed to come back. Now, Mike Rogers, Bob Golick, and Christian Temko only appeared in the last couple of minutes of the movie. It was all about Lisa, Zach, Slater, Screech, and Lisa on their way to Las Vegas to get married, and the adventures that they would have had along the way. Jesse Spano appears again in the last couple of minutes, as well as Mr. Belding. It's designed to be an ending for the whole original Saved by the Bell franchise. But that wasn't the end of those characters, because in the new class, there was an episode where Zach, Slater, and Lisa, who only appeared in episodes 19 and 20, appeared within the episode called Goodbye Bayside Part 2, and Slater appeared in Fire at the Max Part 2 of the new class. In the second season, with ratings dwindling, the producers would actually hire back Dustin Diamond to appear in the new class as Screech, as Belding's administrative assistant on a work-study program from Cal U. Now, that lasted for about 5 years, the new class, and then everything came to an end until 2020, when a revamped, refreshed version of Saved by the Bell came on Paramount Plus, with Zach, Kelly, and Lisa making guest appearances, but Slater and Jesse being two main characters, and all of the original cast, bar Dustin Diamond, having the credit of executive producer on the show. For me, you know, I grew up watching Saved by the Bell. I remember watching it on Channel 4, I think it was, and then California Dreams and USA High. And Saved by the Bell is always going to have a fond place with me, because it was such a fun show to watch. It was what you wanted school to be. You know, you wanted that craziness. You wanted those characters. You wanted to be popular like they were. And similarly, I enjoyed the college years. You know, it was the characters that I knew, slightly enhanced, slightly elevated, slightly pushed to a factor of 10, which as a wrestling fan, and something we'll talk about in the coming weeks, is what a decent wrestling character is all about. And I thought it was fun. I thought it was a unique take on the actual property. I thought it was a really interesting way of bringing those characters to life and seeing them in a different setting and taking them out of their comfort zone of Bayside. So I really enjoyed it. And I love the new additions of Dean McMahon. I thought Mike Rogers was brilliant as well. I wasn't as invested in the new class just because of the fact that, apart from Belding, we didn't know any of the other characters, and they were not as well-rounded as Zach, Screech, Slater, Kelly, and Jesse, and Lisa. And also because I was a lot older at that point, so you can't really justify watching Saved by the Bell. But to this day, putting Saved by the Bell on and watching the original series is still something that I quite enjoy. And with my daughter, as she gets older, we'll be watching it and seeing the new generation. And it's also interesting to see where the characters or the actors themselves went post the franchise, because Mark Paul Gosselaar, who plays Zach, has had a bit of a varied career. You know, he's done things like Franklin and Bash. He's been in LA Law. Tiffany Thiessen went straight from the college years to Beverly Hills 90210 as Valerie. AC Slater, Mario Lopez, has kind of moved away from acting and is now known for presenting. Elizabeth Berkley, yeah, let's all go there. She made some feature films, a couple of mistakes, I think, with Showgirls. And Lark Voorhees has been very open about her struggles with mental health and bipolar disorder. So they've each taken on a different route. But the one thing that unified them at one point was a falling out with Dustin Diamond, who released his book with a ghostwriter, which basically threw shade on all of the cast about their relationships back in the day, and the film, the TV movie that came out, which was the unauthorized story of Saved by the Bell, based on that book. The cast have said that there were no ill feelings towards Dustin. Dustin apparently apologized. Unfortunately, Dustin passed away in February this year, following a very quick battle with cancer, and our thoughts go out to his friends and family. But it would have been interesting to have seen Screech on the remake of Saved by the Bell and seeing those interactions with that cast again. If you can and you haven't seen it, there are DVD releases available on eBay. Check it out. Watch the college years, because it was really underrated, I think, by the critics and by the fans. And actually, if it had been given some time to develop and to grow, it didn't have the longevity of the original series by any means, but it was fun, and it was a nice 22 minutes away from normal life. And yeah, so I would really recommend that you check it out. Okay, so that's it for this week's edition of Retro Chat. Let me know what you think of Saved by the Bell by joining us on social media. So you can go to Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Retro Chat Podcast. Tweet me at RetroChat Pod. Even drop me an email, studio@retrochat.co.uk, and I will play them out on this show. If you're watching or listening on Spotify, you can drop me a voicemail. Click on the voice message link, send that to me, and I will play it on the show. Now, next week, our topic is going to be WrestleMania VI from the Toronto Skydome that took place on April the 1st, 1990. And there is a reason we're doing this show, because I am going to be welcoming a very special guest to join me as the co-host. I'm not going to announce who it is. Anyone who's followed my podcast run will know that we have some history. So that's a clue. If you follow me, you're going to work out who it is. But I'm going to be welcoming this gentleman on next week here on Retro Chat to talk WrestleMania 6. And I really would like to hear from you. So let me know your memories of the epic encounter between Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior, champion versus champion, title for title. It was the Ultimate Challenge. It took place at the Skydome in Toronto, Ontario. Let me know, please, and I will play them on the show. But until then, until the next time, thank you so much for joining us here at Retro Chat Podcast. Stay tuned to the network, because we've got more from the Vault coming. We've got some Master of the Universe Chronicles coming, and WrestleMania 6 next week. Plus, we've got some archive interviews from Two Men and Their Mics, where we're going to be having the likes of Larry Kenny, Larry Nemechek, Bruce Pritchard, some former TNA performers on there, and a whole lot more. So stay tuned to the feed. This is Retro Chat. This is where we look back at the good, the bad, and the damn right ugly of TV, movies, video games, and professional wrestling. Until next time, I'm Andy Evans. See you very soon. Take care.